Jay here, the No Spoon Podcast. Thank you for checking out my channel. If you like what you see, go ahead and subscribe and turn on your post notifications so that you don't miss out on the latest content. Also, like and share with as many people as possible. And if you got an opinion or something that you just want to add to the conversation, I want to hear about it down in the comments section. Until then, enjoy the video. Big thing, and if we really want to talk about conspiracies and we really don't want to talk about like systemic issues and stuff like that, you know, there was a conspiracy a long time ago to start removing and destroying the family. And when they did that, then, you know, all the morality that was supposed to be passed on, it just never happened. And so people ran to wherever they could run to, and it was like, you know, chickens with their head cut off. I had somebody older dude told me this a long time ago when I was in prison, and he was said, and then we was getting, you know, I was talking to him about some frustrations with some of these younger guys, and he said, man, you got to remember, he said some of these dudes grew up in houses where their own mama would fight them for the last piece of chicken. And so, like, when I look at it, man, when if you really want to talk about a conspiracy, it was to destroy the family, and we're still seeing it to this day. Like, we're still seeing that's alive. And when you destroy the family, you destroy the family by getting rid of the men. Nobody wants to be held accountable. Nobody wants to lay down the law. Everybody wants to make excuses for everybody, and we want to sit here and say that this such and such was a great person and he wasn't, or he's not. You know what I mean? Let's just be honest, man. A lot of these things it really goes back to the family structure and the lack of family structure and the lack of morals and values. And no matter where you're at, you know what I'm saying, or and I don't really look at it. I don't really look at it as a race thing. I look at it as about a cultural thing, and that cultural thing can be anybody from anywhere.
You know, once the fathers aren't present, the protection is gone. So, you know, it's pretty much, and I think Broken Traditions mentioned this earlier about the trickle down from the men not being men, then the women not being women, then the children not being children, and then it's a whole generation that's lost. And so the problem is, these past 2.5 years have taught me that the absence of real men, like we talked about this, Che, about, and you could have done this stuff in 1950, this whole Peter pandemic thing. You couldn't have put us off in 1950 because folks would have been like, there's no way I'm shutting down nothing because y'all said something is in the air. It's not going to happen. But you fast forward, people are very comfortable. Things are convenient. So, you know, it makes people softer and weaker, but especially for the men.
Men provide accountability. Yeah. That's what they're there for. That's what we're there for, to bring accountability.
Not to be emotional. You know what I'm saying? To be logical.
Right.
Yeah, once you're logical, then, you know what I'm saying, you be the head of the household. You can make sure everything is good. Then you follow, then you lead, everybody follow. Then, you know, your offsprings, you know, go accordingly. But now everybody in the house is emotional. There's too many, nobody's logic, and everybody loses.
But that was the point. See, people looking maybe like, oh, there's an attack on men, and I'm saying it's not men in a sense of a male. It's the way that we think,
right,
is important, right? It's the logical aspect to the human being. There's nothing wrong with being emotional, having women being emotional. And I'm not saying emotional as far as like, you know, they just crying all the time. I'm just saying there's ways that we think that are different.
Yeah.
Men think a certain way, women think a certain way. The reason why they remove the man is because you remove the logical aspect. This is why emotional people are the easiest people to manipulate. You can always manipulate a person with emotions. We see it happen all the time, especially with this social media the way that it is now. All you got to do is put certain images in front of you and have it be played over and over and over again, and then you're gonna get a reaction. And every time those emotional images, they always lead to something that empowers somebody else. So
I mean, I'll give you a perfect example: the Democratic Party. You got Stacey Abrams going on stage with Lotto, literally talking about sex and deleting a child at the same time. So you have those images out there.
That's what I'm saying. Right. I mean, that's what they always talk, and that's what the whole, you know, when I look at it and you really break it down and you look at the two different sides politically, and I'm not just talking about Democrat and Republican, I'm just talking about people with conservative values and people with more liberal values. What it really comes down to is a masculine way of thinking and a feminine way of thinking.
Right.
Yes.
The feminine way of thinking, this is why they always say, oh, they don't want to raise, they don't have any empathy, right? They don't have any empathy. And really what that means is you should be sympathetic or empathetic to everything that I do, even if it's debauchery, even if it's wrong. We should still give place to your actions, because I should be empathetic towards you, even when you're doing wrong. There's the masculine way of thinking, and there's a feminine way of thinking. And so the feminine way of thinking is to be empathetic, but empathetic to a point of being so tolerant of everything. And people with agendas and people that are manipulative, they are going to put their agenda behind and hide behind this idea of being empathetic and being tolerant. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. The masculine way of thinking is, this is how we do things, this is right and this is wrong, this is and we are going to be disciplined, and we are going to be accountable, and we are going to raise people up in the right way. Yeah. Accountability is needed more than anything. And we look at all these different things we talk about, from the Adam 22s, to the Kanye's, or Leor Cohen's, to Nipsey Hussle. If people don't take a step back and look at themselves, for one, I don't like not doing anything where I can't look at myself, because we always have this talk, and especially the people always talk about having power and power to the people, and having, but real power to the individual is being accountable. That's where real power is, right? Real power is in accountability, because once I can sit here and say that, look, I'm not going to worry about what Blanche does to me, or what traditions has said to me. I'm only going to worry about what Che does and what Che can do, and how Che can fix his life, right? Yeah. I don't care about the police. I don't care about, I'm not saying that these issues don't exist, but what I'm saying is that I need to only worry about what I can control and try to fix that, because it makes no sense for me to sit here and be crying about everything everybody's doing to me when I don't take the time to fix the things that I can fix for myself. Right. And so once I do that, then I have real power, because once you say it's somebody else's fault, now you've taken the power and you put it in their hands. Now I have to wait for them to sit here and say, okay, I woke up today and I decided to stop oppressing you. That's the reality. I woke up today and I decided I'm going to stop oppressing you. So now you're free to do what you want to do. You see what I'm saying? And it's a difference when I say, you know what? Do what you want to do, but I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and I can control what I can control.
Yep.
Right.
And when you think like that, life becomes better for you. It just flows easier. Yeah, like it flows so much easier.